Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and checking out your boy P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab in my book. I got a nice lesson for you. I'm excited, so let's do what we do. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive them. We got a good thing going. I appreciate you. Let's get to work. Right thinkers mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal, of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. If you know me, you know my mission, and that's what I'm on, is to get all right thinkers to know thyself. I give education, information. I give information that you can use to help transform you to be a better you so that you would know thyself. That's my mission. That's my goal. That's my agenda. Nothing hidden, nothing, that you don't know about. So yeah, this is what I do for you. So I ask the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Help you to know you. Know thyself. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not, they simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and think or believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. Excuse me. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here with knowledge of self to wake you up. A person who knows and knows that they know, is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself, and always to my yacht be true. Right thinkers, we heading into chapter or lesson number 4. We're gonna learn about the Paute, the God and goddesses, the aspects of the boat, the consciousness and understanding creation. Okay, and the principles through creation. The title is Right Thinkers, the psycho spiritual journey through the principles of creation. I stay with the creation story. Why? Because that's the beginning. You want to have a foundation to stand on. When I was a Masonic worship master, teacher in the craft, dean of instruction, I lived on the first level. Why? That's the foundation. If your first understanding is a little shaky, you're going to be on shaky ground. But if you're comfortable in understanding what you're standing on, you'll be comfortable and you'll stand on establishment of knowledge. Not, well, they say this out. No, you need to understand it. And I'm telling you, only way you're going to progress is to implement the knowledge that you're learning. How you know if it's any good? But this is what this is about. We're going to talk about the tree of life. And it is really what? A roadmap of what? A journey which explains how creation came into being. I'm explaining that to you. And how it will what? End. It will. Trust me. It also what explains that what creation is composed of, those are the elements, and so what human beings are also composed of. We are composed of. It also will explain the process of creation and how creation develops, as well as who created creation. That should be good. And where the entity may be found, aka God, hidden. Where? Tell nobody. As my man would say, Pops. It's also what explains how a human being may what? Discover that entity. Ding, 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 ding. That's my goal, to get you to discover that entity. Watch this. And in so doing, you will also discover what? The secrets of creation, the meaning of life, and the means to break free from what? The pathetic condition of human limitations and what we call mortality, in order to discover what? Your higher realms of being by discovering and living by what? The principles and elevating to the levels of existence that are what? Beyond. Raised past beyond the what? The simple physical and material aspects of life. Human limitations is thinking you're human. Ego, me, I. Right now, physical senses. All you want to do is be pleasured physically. You want to have fun, materialistic those things. That's human. Spiritual, we are spiritual beings. God is spirit. We are gods in human form. We're here to learn a lesson in life for the purpose of what? Knowing thyself. Hopefully you get the concept. All right. So now let's start with the movement of creation and the concept of the Pauti, spelled P-A-U-T-I. Now, when I'm teaching or giving lessons, this is for everybody. I don't just talk to one set or men. No, I talk to men and women, young and old. Don't make a difference to me. I'm teaching. That's what I do. Hopefully I help you. This is college level education. So I know you grammar school and ignorant ones who, nope, y'all ain't gonna like this. Why? This is a little bit above your head. If you ain't willing to partake and be better, I ain't your man. Moving on. I'm here to teach, give you information that you can use. If you don't want to better yourself, I ain't your man. But every human being, spiritual beings having human experience, the human experience is what they call the psycho-spiritual journey. It's mental. God is between the temples, not made with human hands. And let's go. Now, this is going to be some good symbolic and esoteric knowledge. You need to pay attention. And if you do that, you'll learn something, I guarantee. Watch this. And on this psycho-spiritual journey, there are various ways of trying to discover what? Happiness. That's the human part right there. Peace and fulfillment. All that's human stuff that you're striving for. Why? Because the spirit wants that. The ego, not so much. That's why it's the holy war inside you. What? The fight is between you and your higher you. Lower self, higher self. Set, Haru. Parfis, Ra, whatever you want to call it, but it's going to be opposition. Your decision is make the decision based on what's best for you. Everybody don't make the same decision, but because we have free will, you're responsible for the decision that you make. I'm just trying to get you in a position, give you the material and the tools that you will need to make that decision that would benefit you. Take away ignorance, give you knowledge of self so you can make better life decisions, because you got to do it every day, every day. But that's the right thing away. Where we at? Most people look for peace and fulfillment, and most people search where? In the world for these covenant goals. Therein lies the problem. All you're going to do is chase that proverbial dragon for sexual pleasures, monetary things, glory, and all the egoistic stuff that satisfy what? The self. You're not living for the higher self. The higher self wants you to acquiesce, conduct yourself, and do things that you should be doing. And doing that, you will be rewarded. Because if you don't do that, you will be punished. It's just that simple. Moving on. We teach right from wrong for the purpose. You know right from wrong. Your choice is to do what's right. And if you choose wrong, there's some punishment that come with that, just like there's a reward that come with doing right. However, there we go. Invariably, you can now only find limited fulfillment at best, and in the end, all of your person's achievements, all those fancy stuff, all that Lear Jackson, all that title, watch this. Now, no matter how grand or they all are relinquished by them at the what? Time of death. Ding, 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 ding. Everything that you possess means nothing after physical death. Somebody's going to get all your money, all this stuff, whatever it is that you hoarded, you had to have, you can't take it with you. So all that putting energy into getting stuff that you can't take with you, put that energy into knowing thyself, because that's what you can take with you. How about that? Hope that makes sense. So mystical philosophy shows what? That people are really searching for a deeper happiness, and that if they were to what? Understand what? Mentally, how to pursue their worldly desires. Know what's good, know what you want, focus on it, and go get it. If it's in education, if it's in sports, if it's in whatever endeavor you want, but you put your best foot forward and give your best effort and you go for that. And your desire for your worldly desires and your actions, but it's going to end up with what? Experiences that would be what? And they should be directed in a inner spiritual discovery. Thyself is in here. Everything you do should be geared to get knowledge of self, understanding, and then everything else you can project outward. If you do it the other way around, it never works out good for you. Now, the fruit of this inner journey, self, is the discovery that what one has infinite peace and bliss. Most people know what bliss is without being under the influence. Bliss is being carefree, worry-free, meditation. You can go to that state of mind where you can just be comfortable and know that everything is all right. If you're agitated, you worry about bills, you got bad relationships, you're doing illegal and wrong stuff, you're never going to reach bliss. Bliss ain't coming your way at all, not even after death. So you and bliss, bye-bye. When you get bliss, and that's deep within, and that's the self-discovery. Whenever there's self first, that means it's you. Okay? Self-discovery of that what? That true goal of life. Every individual, the goal is the same, but the idea how to get there will be different. Knowing thyself, you can take any route you want. You can follow any belief system you want, but you got to put the work in. I tell you, the religions work if you practice them the way they're intended to. They get you where you want to go. I'm just telling you, I have a way that I've used it. I know, so I don't have to worry about the belief system route. That's all. Understand that. I'm giving you an option. That's it. I ain't saying stop being Christian, stop being no. I'm just saying understand there's other routes, and you can incorporate that in your route. It will help you along your route to what? Self-discovery. That I can guarantee. It won't hurt it. It will always help. So now, watch this. Right thinkers, in order to successfully complete this life cycle spiritual journey, what? Everyone needs to evolve spiritually. That means get knowledge. So what? So that the characters of the myth that we learn about of creation and their various forms with interaction with each other are in reality, you ready? An elaborate mystic code. The Bible's a coded book also, relating to what? The areas of human consciousness which need to be developed in order to what? Grow spiritually with knowledge, information that you can use. Okay, not just information. No, I'll keep telling you, all information ain't good information. But spiritual growth, and as what? As explained earlier, the first thing is noticed when what? When the deity of the ancient Egyptian creation, and is based on the teachings of Anu, meaning the first time, the first place. They tell you about the group called Awanaki, them that came from heaven. We ain't going there. Let's stick to the Egyptian Assyrian concept. That's why I dwell. Okay. When there's free will and choice, I made my choice. The Egyptians was my choice 35 years ago. I ain't changing now. Go, well, they say them. I don't care what they say about them. Don't care. Furthermore, I know what they say about them too. Where we at down here? Okay, consciousness. When you building consciousness, that means we giving you information that you have to interpret, understand, and which is needed to what? Develop in order to grow spiritually. Again, everything is done up here. And as I explained earlier, okay, I know teachings of I knew and are placed in what? They are start out in a hierarchical fashion, and it's based on what? Their order of creation, starting with Ra, is that they what? Arise in accordance with their level of density. Broke that down for you earlier. Density here refers to what? Their order of stability of the elements, starting with Ra, the fire, and creation, which they represent. Here we go. Ra is the first principle, which emerges out of the primeval waters. He is the subtle singular one, on the one principle of creation. Why? It starts with him. It's from him. Okay, and the focus of oneness in the time of space. I gave the Apophis and Ra breakdown. It started the Big Bang when nothing was going on and something started going on. Now we got movement. That's what Ra represents, the movement against Apophis with in the noon. Another lesson, gave that already. But this one right here, the ocean itself transcends time and space. It was before we was. So it's before time and space. And it is beyond existence and non-existence. Why? Ra is the first principle to emerge out of what? The absolute, the all. It all comes from one. And what? His emergence signifies, you ready? The beginning of existence, what we call time and space, or I did tell you, the Big Bang. It didn't just happen with that bang. We try to explain it to you philosophically and conceptually. That's the difference. We try to give you the understanding of creation first. Let's start with that. In the beginning. Everybody starts with in the beginning. None of us was there. So it's all theoretically. I understand and respectfully understand every culture has their culture, story, tradition, and belief system. It's called religion. Fully aware of that. Moving on. That's not my point. But as explained earlier, what? The second important idea derived from what? The Paute. And that is they represent a whole number, 10 in number. And thus they convey what? The idea of a special symmetry. They all go together, weave together to what can create. And the highest level, which is Ra, is just opposed to what? With the lower level of the Paute, with the image of which? Haru. You and God are connected spiritually, that cord. You just don't know it. And when you know it, you'll go right to him. All the stuff in between, those are just trials and tribulations that you got to go through to learn to master oneself in the physical plane. Trying to make it simple for you, but Haru is the spirit that's in you. So at one end, we'll see the perfect singularity, which is Ra, the supreme self. And at the other end, we'll see what? The perfect combination of what? Spirit and matter. Coming one, yin and the yang. Spirit and matter in the form of who? Haru. Me and you in the flesh. Not just that God that y'all think was Jesus. We all are. Trust me on that one. So, wow, the tree of life, we see, the tree of life, we see what? The cosmic honor mythograph may be understood as a reference to what? A higher and a lower idea in reality. And the image is not to be understood as a teaching of something that is above or better and something that is below lesser. It ain't about that. Thou, Haru, watch this, is on the plane of what? On the same plane, and he have become his degeneration, meaning in the flesh. He's here. Therefore, degeneration is not a rigid state, human, Haru beings, but it elevates themselves to what? Better, higher level of consciousness, lower level, higher level. And it is the teachings which expresses the essence of creation, containing subtle as well as what? Grosser objects, which all emanate from the same source. Everything here comes from the one same source. The ancient Egyptian teaching states that what? That which is above is the same as which is below. As above, so below. If the above and the below, mind, heart, mind, coherence. Watch this. If the above and below teaching is to be applied, what happened? It should be understood as referring to what? The idea that everything in creation is the reflection of the spiritual essence which transcends physicality. The physical universe is an emanation from the spiritual essence and as such is sustained by it. The elements, the very matter which constitutes creation, elements, is in reality what? Spirit in a condensed form, just as when a person, what? You ready for this? Falls asleep. I told you we in God's dream. God has everything in creation in his mind. As you fall asleep in your dream world is what? It's condensed and out of what? Your own consciousness. When you go to sleep, whatever you think about, you bring it in. It ain't coming from outside you. Understand that. That's the same with God. Now you got the noon, okay? Is the underlying primordial consciousness of creation. Everything starts from there. And Ra may be seen as what? You ready? Ra is the soul of creation. And Tahuti may be seen as the cosmic mind, okay? Here we go, of creation. These are titles that they're given the higher elements of God that we can understand and partake what? In our personality and emulate them for what they represent. Watch this. Now you got Het Haru, which I know is Hathor, may be seen as the vital life force, the opposite of Haru, the vital force in the male aspect. She's the female aspect, okay? She's always conscious and she's always there because she's the vital force of creation. And here you go, my girl, Maya. What she do? She may be seen as the underlying order of creation. I told you, the first thing Ra did when he came out the noon, which is all chaotic and all potential, but nothing really going on, he stood on Maya, which is order. That's what she represents. That's why I give her props every day. That's my goddess of choice. Moving on, yeah, my favorite. No problem. Tahuti, again, Het Haru and Maya are what they call underlying principles. I asked the AI, do these principles, are they empirical truths? Yes. Are the belief system in the Bible, are they empirical truths? Moving on. Principles can be proven to be truth. Why? You can manifest them. Belief, superstitions, not so much. That's the difference. So understand that, please. Moving on. I'm trying to make it clear to you. What I do and what you do may be different. No problem. But I know what I'm doing, just like you claim to know what you're doing. We got a problem. Moving on. I just teach. Now, you got Maya, and all they fall under what? The principles which sustain the Paiute. They're based on principles and functions. When God said, let there be light, Ra came into existence. Been there ever since. His only begotten son, S-U-N. We're going to stop it right there. Y'all claim he gave his only begotten son in human form. Wrong interpretation. Less and less. I ain't got time for that. But my point, I could point out all the flaws in y'all belief system, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to teach you about a system that I know works. That's what I use. Moving on. Now I just showed you the picture of they call the image of the company of God and goddesses and the boat of Ra. This is how they roll. Okay? Metaphorically. You see Ra's at front. You see everybody's headdress. They would tell you who they are. You see Asar back there behind them, okay? That's everybody, and they represent a certain aspect of your personality, your character. And that's proven fact. Now, the image I just showed you above of the Paiute of creation, along with the underlying principles which sustain them. As explained earlier, the Paiute refers to what? Creation itself is based on air, water, the earth, heaven, and the sun. Those are the 5 elements. After that, spirit gets into what? His creation. Let's go. Now, watch this. The deities of the Paiute are 9 in number, and when you include, they include Shu, air, Tufnu, moist air, Geb, earth, Nut. Now, I hear people say nut. I hate when they do that. Get the enunciation right, but it's Nut because the U spelled with the U, the double O sound. And you got Tufnu, which is moist air. Then you got Geb, which is the foundation of earth. Y'all call it Mother Earth. We knew earth had to be male. Why? Because heaven is the female aspect. That's all. Moving on. Now, then you got, after that, those are all elements. The next one is Asar. He represents what? eternal soul and spirit, where God comes into his creation set, which is the ego of every individual. And if he has his way with you, you're going to have problems. Talk about him in a minute. Then you got Netet. She represent what? Mortality. Okay. Aset represent intuitive and wisdom and knowledge and also immortality. Her sister is mortality. Together they call the mourners. They are the Mayate. You see two things? That's serpents. That's Aset and Netet. Okay. They play a few different roles. Okay. But then you got Haru He was born with the 5 children. The story goes right quick. We had 360 days in a year. Gab and Nuke was in a love embrace. Shu broke them up, but during the love embrace, Gab got Nuke pregnant. Ra said she can't give birth on no day of the year. So Tahuti, smart mind, he went and gambled some days away from the moon. So he incorporated 5 more days. Hence, we got 365 days now, the new calendar. And everybody got a story for those 5 days. Epinomical days, holidays, festival days, whatever. But we gave it with the birth of the gods. Okay, let's go. Now, you got Haru, you got Mayate, you got Haru, you got Tahuti, are not part of the Pawite itself. Why? Because they are subtle principles. That's why. Which were created by Ra, again, to support its existence. And Pu is the production of what? Spirit and more to life. Not that represents mortality. Asar represents spirit. They get together. The offspring will be Anubis, known as Anpu. Okay, that's discernment. Every principle come together to make another principle. They wasn't in the Paute, but they created themselves outside the Paute, which were presented by Ra. And watch this, it works to support existence and also works to support your character. Why? You need discernment. Put that in you for a reason. And it is production of what? The production of the spirit and more to life. So he is a new principle. Again, principle that we give identity to, that we gave him the jackal head concept, anthropomorphic form. We know what we was doing a long time ago. It's a purpose. So he is a new principle emanating from what? Creation itself. Spirit, mortality, discernment. These are all principles that you can understand philosophically. I see the clock is running. Let me get to the next part. Before I shut the lesson down, it's going to be a part 2. Why? This is all good stuff, hopefully. You got the ancient Egyptian word and symbols that relate to the company of God and goddesses, which is the Paute, indicate several important mystical teachings. This is lessons. These are philosophical concepts to give you understanding that you can learn and manifest by what? Practicing them. The root of the ancient Egyptian word Paute is Pa, P-A. And Pa means to what? Exist. Hello. Thus, creation is endowed with the quality what? Of existence. Hence, Pa Netta, as opposed to what? Non-existence, which is Pau, P-A-U, is the next progression in the word, and it means what? The primeval divinity, the source of creation, and it's the root of existence. And Pau is the next evolution of the word, P-A-U, meaning that the very substance out of which everything is created is the one and the same. The Pau, too, also refers to what? Living beings. Ding, 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 ding. Human beings. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So we are the Pau, too. And it refers to living beings. What? Especially who? Human beings. And you got the Paute is the final expression of Pa. And it has 2 major meanings. It refers to what? The primeval divinity or the divine self. And they both equal God, as well as the deities who are comprised the company of God and goddesses, the Paute in Neteru. And that's going to the lesson for right now because I got something to do. But in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100 and me 100 minus the date, so I never know that right thinker like you passed away. I'll be back with more of the psycho spiritual journey through the principles of creation, breaking it down. Hopefully you understand it. I'm enjoying it. I'll be back.